Welcome back, fellow coders. Jared Leary here with BootUp. This video, I'm going to show you how the Pedestrian's sprite works in the interactive store display project. So when you open up the example project that I created, you might look at this and be like, okay, that's a lot of code for this sprite. It is, but let me break it down for you to make it a little bit easier to understand. So if we go to the top, when the green flag is clicked, it's going to do 3 sets of code: reset and wait, change costumes, and move across the screen. So let's take a look at the first part, reset and wait. So this block of code or function is going to set the rotation style to left and right, so it doesn't flip upside down, but it only looks left and right. And then it's going to do this conditional. So if the answer for this random number is 1, it's going to have it point in the direction left and move to the right side of the screen. However, if the answer is not 1, else, it's going to point in the direction right, and then move to the left side of the screen like that. So it's going to start over here. It's going to make the sprite hide, and then it's going to wait a random amount between 1 and 8 seconds. Now for this video, I'm just going to have it wait 2 seconds, so that way you can see it repeating over and over. The reason why I use the pick a random number in here is because we want to make sure that the pedestrians aren't just walking back and forth at the same interval every single time. Okay, so take a look at the second part. So it says change costumes. So we scroll down. This next part, it looks a little weird. It's picking a random number between 1 and 7, and then it's multiplying it by 2. So let's take a look at the costumes here. So if we pick the random number 1, multiply it by 2, that starts us off with number 2. If we pick the random number 2, you multiply it by 2, that starts you off with costume number 4. Now, why did I do that? Here's why. After it shows, it's going to repeat this process where it switches to the current costume number minus 1. This is a fancy way of saying previous costume. Waits a little bit, goes to the next costume. And then it keeps repeating this. So it's going previous costume, previous, next. Here's why. So if the random number is 2, it's going to, if the random number is 1, you multiply it by 2, we get 2. And we go to our previous costume, next costume, previous costume, next costume. So it's going to switch between these 2. Now, if our random number that is picked is 2, it goes to 4 because we multiply by 2, and we go back to previous, next, previous, next. And so it makes it look like the sprite is walking because it's switching between those 2 costumes. Now, we want to make sure that it doesn't switch between 2 different sets of costumes, so all of a sudden it's a cat, and then it's a dinosaur, like that. So that's why we use this code. A little complicated, I know, but this makes it so that it always switches between a random sprite, and it switches between that sprite's costume. The last part, move across the screen. So this code is pretty simple. Just 100 times, it's moving 5 steps. So it might be moving to the right, it might be moving to the left. We don't know because it has to do with what direction we're facing, either left or the direction of right. Okay, now the reason why I created a block for reset and wait and move across the screen, but did not create one for this broadcast is because I wanted this change costumes to run at the same time as move across the screen. So if we go over to our events, there are 2 different types of broadcast blocks. One says and wait, the other does not say and wait. Now, I didn't want it to wait because I wanted to do this chunk of code at the same time as this block. And then when this block finishes, it will forever repeat to the beginning and then run this code. Okay, so I know I talked a lot and I know that was complicated, but I just wanted to explain what was going on in here. If you get stuck or you're trying to figure out some stuff, you can rewatch this video, or you can go into the project itself and read through the different comments for each chunk of code, and hopefully that will help explain this complicated sprite. Hey everyone, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. If you're not watching us on YouTube, you can find us on that platform as well as other social media outlets by searching for BootUp PD. And if you're looking for more free lessons, projects, and resources for teachers and students, visit us at bootuppd.org, where you can also learn about our high-quality professional development.